Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to the One Bitcoin Show. Today is January the 27th, 2019. Strong hand 3 a.m. conviction. All right, yeah, that's what I got today. It's 3 a.m. in the morning here in Israel. I've got conviction. I've got a strong hand. I got to do this show. You got to value your wealth in Bitcoin, baby. You got to be pumped because it's 3 a.m. and I'm on fire and I'm telling the truth about Bitcoin and spreading the word and being a unique beast and reminding all of you to be a holder of last resort, that this stuff is unconfiscatable, unlike the gold in Venezuela. Pound that like button. All right, check out disruptmeister.com. I'm almost at 1,200 videos there. Yes, I've done like 1,200 Bitcoin-related videos in my life. Oh, yeah, I've got the conviction. I've got that strong hand. I have never sold a Bitcoin for fiat. Why? I value my wealth in Bitcoin. That's how I can tell I'm doing well by how many Bitcoin I have. I'm doing pretty well. All right, so remember, check out techbalt.com, TECHBALT. Follow me there on Twitter, of course. This Week in Bitcoin was great. Jeff Vandrew Jr. was on. Bitcoin Tina was on, and Russell Spears were on. That was Friday's show. Check that out. Yesterday's Beyond Bitcoin show was great. I talked about Venezuela. I talked about the wealth tax, and we're going to talk about that a little bit today also. But you should check out that stuff, the Saturday show, if you'd like, when I talk about subject matters that go way beyond cryptocurrency, but that can be tied back into cryptocurrency. And on Friday's show, I forgot, I think it was Bitcoin Tina said, wolves in Bitcoiners' clothing. Yeah, there are a lot of wolves in Bitcoiners' clothing out there. Now, again, there's some people who are that are great. A lot people can do charts. That doesn't mean they're wolves necessarily. They're people that are true Bitcoiners that talk about the price and everything. I mean, Tone, Murad, they're good guys. But there are so many. Oh God, there are a lot of wolves in Bitcoiners' clothing out there, and we talked about that on Friday a little bit. All right, so let me tell you something else about real life here. Hacker Noon, there's an article out, a tale of 3 vending machines, and it shows 3 vending machines in a California grocery store. I assume it's Los Angeles. Let's pretend it's Los Angeles. And the article really is about Azteco, that it's easier to get an Azteco voucher than buying your Bitcoin at the Coinstar machine. But what I liked about the article is that it actually showed a lottery machine, a movie machine, where you buy the movie. What's it? Netflix machine, I guess it is. I've never done that. Never. And then the Coinstar machine. Now, and again, it's not that easy to get your Bitcoin off the Coinstar machine, apparently. But the point is like, if you're in LA, you're at the grocery store. Where do you think what machines are most people are going to be interested in? They want to get their movies, or they want their lottery tickets. And how many people are actually going to take the time and say, I'm a saver. I want some Bitcoin. That is the state of the world today. I thought those 3 machines explain it pretty well. The 80% of the people, they're going to want their lottery and their and their movies. And that satisfies most people. Their lottery ticket, which is a total waste of money, and their movie, they get a little high off of that, and they'll never consider Bitcoin. And it just shows you how ahead of the game you are if you don't value your wealth in freaking lottery machines and Netflix. If you're into Bitcoin, it just shows. So I had a completely different take on that article, but you can read the article. Again, it was more about Azteco being easier than the buying Bitcoin at a vending machine. Anyway, there's a New York Times article out. I didn't read the whole thing, but Matt Odell tweeted it out. I think this is very interesting. Despite Bitcoin's dive, a former Soviet republic, is still betting big on it. Tax breaks, land deals, and cheap energy have spurred cryptocurrency mining in Georgia. Yes, the Republic of Georgia, not Georgia near Florida, Georgia that the Beatles sung about in in back in the USSR. Okay, that Georgia, which of course it's okay anyway. So it wants to be a digital data leader. Georgia gets it, says Matt Odell. They're playing for keeps. Who's next? Bitfury has given our country many things, including a path to the future, he said. When you have a ticket to get onto the world map, he added, you should use it. Now, there we go. Those people in Georgia, they're on the right track there. This is a way to get onto the world map. Maybe they're buying up a lot of Bitcoin too. They should be. They'll position themselves well. So in the future, in the 2020s, in the 2030s, there'll be some countries that are quite wealthy that we consider that most people have never even heard of now. Not that that's saying much. I mean, most people on the planet, they don't really know about many other Americans. How many countries? Again, when I say Georgia, most Americans are like, "Oh yeah, Atlanta. I'm going to the Super Bowl." Yeah, they don't think. But anyway, yes. Interesting article from the New York Times. Interesting. New York Times would even write an article like this. The world map is changing because of Bitcoin. And Tony Traveler sent $20 in the super chat, dude. And he says, "Strong hands." Tony, thank you very much for the support. Here's a strong hand for you. And I just want to remind everyone I'm wearing the All Good Lab shirt now. These guys in New York, they're into Bitcoin. Check them out, allgoodlab.com. They sent me this nice hipster Bitcoin shirt. I wore it tonight at the Tel Aviv Bitcoin Embassy. Oh, yeah, I've been all around tonight, definitely. I even took a nap tonight. It's a long story. It's been a long day. But Tony Traveler, I hope you're traveling all around. And yes, strong hands. Okay. Someone said gold is the rock. Ooh, I'm going to talk about gold in a second, dude. Pound that like button. Bitcoin is the rock, though. Bitcoin is the rock. I was going to read an article by Hass McCook and comment on it. I had no time to do it. Hass, I'm sorry. I'll mention your article tomorrow once I read it. I want to, fully. Hass is great. He's recovering. Like all the Australians, they are recovering from Australia Day, which was what? It was on Saturday. Was Australia Day? Yes, it was. I guess it was. I was in Australia for Australia Day in, when was that? 2016. I was in Melbourne and I saw the fireworks. It was just like 4th of July. And of course, I just walk outside, saw the fireworks for free, then went back inside again. Don't need to pay to go to some party or something like that. No need to get drunk either. But I know a lot of Australians do get drunk on that day. So, okay, going back. We'll talk about Hass McCook tomorrow. So, Matt Odell had another tweet out there. Now, this one is not as positive. He says, "This is the point in the cycle where you burn a bunch of bridges getting into pointless circular arguments online." And you know what? He is right. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people who are frustrated with the fiat price. So they're getting a little testy. They're getting into arguments and battles on Twitter. And I have always said, this is a waste of time. This is not a productive use of Twitter. Crypto Twitter, Bitcoin Twitter, whatever you want to call it. You can learn so much just by reading. And again, I share a lot of tweets here. I retweet a lot of tweets. And as many of you know, I don't get into these battles at all. If people start with me on Twitter, totally ignore them. I don't think I've ever gotten into any sort of battle. But I mean, there are hardcore battles on there. And it's just a waste of time. Total waste of time. You'll regret it eventually. Be in motion. And it just gets you into a negative vibe. If you start to follow these battles and you get into these battles, your hands will get weaker. You'll think it's all about battling. You'll forget the whole point of Bitcoin. And it's not about getting into arguments and proving who's right and winning. No, come on. It's a way to be in motion. Create a business around Bitcoin. Don't get into little nitpicky arguments. Again, there's so many people that their hobby is nitpicking, and that's not a good hobby. Be elite. I just wanted to remind everyone to be elite. It starts with 1 Bitcoin. Okay, there's all this Lightning node talk out there, Lightning node directory, where you can use your Lightning, where you can buy things with Lightning. Vortex was talking about. So I linked to various links below. Directories of, I mean, some of them are kind of vague, and some of them aren't exactly all Lightning stuff. You can check it out if you're wondering about where you can buy stuff on the Lightning Network. Check out the links I have below. Here we go. Whale Panda has a tweet. This is about Venezuela, and I used it in my title because I think it's a lesson from what's going on in Venezuela. Not your vault, not your gold. Rhymes actually better than not your keys, not your Bitcoin. Now, what's he talking about there? Not your vault, not your gold. What's he talking about? Well, here, a Pomp, whatever you want to call him, he says Venezuela just tried to withdraw $1.2 billion of their own gold out of the Bank of England. They were denied this request by the bank. If you don't think uncensorable, unseizable money is going to become the standard, you're absolutely nuts. Long Bitcoin, short the bankers. Yep, you Venezuela, Maduro, dude. You should have bought Bitcoin. You should have thought of this, personal responsibility is new counterculture. You're playing around with this petro thing, and you got your gold in England. Well, it's not really your gold. They're not giving it to you, dude. That's a lesson, people. You think you got some gold in some vault somewhere? Is it your vault? Because if it's not your vault, it's not your gold. And also, even if you had gold in your vault, I mean, someone could take your vault. Someone could hijack your vault. Someone could. How about this for you? Just get your Bitcoin. They can't take, that's unconfiscatable. Anyway, maybe you have a secure vault, but you need to transfer your gold. How are you going to do it? You're going to put the gold in your car and then put it on a plane with you? No, this is why Bitcoin is digital gold, why it's gold 2.0. Hey, but Maduro, he didn't realize it, or Chavez didn't realize it. They thought keeping their gold with England was a good idea. Not a good idea, but at least the world can learn a lesson from it. And understand the value of Bitcoin in such a situation. So let's again. I want to mention a lot of rumors about Venezuela going on. A lot of people trying to paint it as if what's going on there isn't going to be good for the people. I mean, the people have suffered under this rule, and some people are like, "Oh, the U.S. just doesn't want China to get power." And okay. Have you guys watched this show before when we've had guests from Venezuela on? I mean, this is not about China and the USA. This is about the people in Venezuela. I mean, they've had to deal with some nasty stuff and they're tired of it. This isn't some made up thing. So here's something from someone that you know. Well, first of all, I linked to a tweet from Reuters Venezuela that actually talks about this also. But my buddy in Venezuela says, as the U.S. does not recognize Maduro as president, the new one, Juan Guaido, is in the right to name the new CEO of Citgo, which is the company that handles the oil sales in the U.S. That means that they can take away the control of the main sources of income of the Maduro regime, which is checkmate if you ask me. The economic crisis will get worse for some time, but I think this is the step we need to end this once and for all. Without money, the government will not be able to bribe the military forces, and they will sooner or later turn their backs on them. I'm pretty excited. This is really good news. Again, this is from a real person in Venezuela. He doesn't care about China or the United States. He just wants to get rid of this leader. And if they have to bankrupt him, then they have to bankrupt him. At least this regime will be gone and they will be able to live better, freer lives in Venezuela, not have to worry about petros and hyperinflation and how they're going to eat. And again, this Guaido guy likes Bitcoin. Apparently, we'll see how this all develops. But there's so many people that are just natural. I mean, they're so pessimistic when they hear the United States is favoring this new guy. They're like, oh, it must be bad. It must be bad. It must be in the interest of the United States, so it must be bad. This isn't natural. This isn't going to be good for the people. Sometimes the United States does support some very good causes. Okay, people. Don't be a pessimist. If you've watched this show before, I think you'll be quite optimistic about what's going on now, that the people are on the move there, and they're getting rid of this situation that's been horrible for them for quite some time. And again, get into Bitcoin now, Venezuelans. A lot of you already have. This isn't over yet. Take personal responsibility just in case this all drags on for who knows how long. All right. Speaking of Venezuela, Elizabeth Warren has come up with a new tax proposal, and I talked about this on yesterday's show. She wants it's called a wealth tax. If you have over $50 million in wealth, in assets, she wants to tax you at 2% every year for 2% of what you have that's over $50 million in value. Okay, and this is and she's not president of the United States. She's probably not going to become president of the United States. But the Democrats are leaning this way. They are hateful of the wealthy. The leading candidates or the leading thought leaders that are on that side or on the left in the United States, and even on the right, people, there's so much jealousy and envy of people that have wealth, and they want to take away wealth. And this is wealthy people didn't get wealthy because they're stupid, and they're long-term thinkers. And this talk of a wealth tax will get them thinking, and they're in motion type of people. If they can turn some of their wealth into Bitcoin without anonymously acquiring Bitcoin, this will help protect them from such situations. Now, a lot of people who have Bitcoin, the government already knows what Bitcoin they have. So having Bitcoin would not, you would still have to pay the wealth tax, which is not cool. It's not cool. But a way wealthy people could get around that is just they could leave the United States. They could get rid of their citizenship. Now, part of the Warren proposal would be to fine people or charge them more for getting rid of their citizenship if they try to avoid the wealth tax. So, but again, this might be good for Monero also. Let's see how anonymous Monero is. If it looks like there's going to be a wealth tax, then maybe some of the wealthy will start to put their money into anonymous cryptocurrencies where no one will know how much they have. Again, the wealthy people do know how to buy Bitcoin anonymously, I think, over the counter. I think they have that ability. But there's some people who might be, if Elizabeth Warren or someone likes her becomes president, who likes a wealth tax. There's some people who are going to be wealthy because of Bitcoin who it will be unavoidable. The government will know how much Bitcoin they will have, and they will be subject to a wealth tax based on the amount of Bitcoin they have. But there's still, again, you'll still have your Bitcoin. You'll be able to leave the country and get rid of your citizenship and pay the fine. But this is an interesting situation. It could lead more people to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. All this talk of wealth tax and taxing the rich and hating the rich. The rich didn't get rich because they're stupid. And I hope this does backfire on all the people who want to steal from the rich. I hope that all the rich are like, well, let's try out this Bitcoin. Let's try out this Monero. Let's try out this cryptocurrency stuff. Good. I would love that. Pound that like button. So here's a tweet from 2-Bit Idiot, and it shows the centralized weakness of Ripple, that Ripple is a company and that it's a huge target. If you're a current or former partner, investor, customer, employee of Ripple, and you want to share anonymous tips regarding the company's XRP sales, marketing, or general business practices, you can do so with our team off the record. And it says, it's this Masari group. They came out, I talked about this on Friday's show. I mean, basically, they're saying that Ripple, Ripple tries to, part of their big plan is to, stay number 2 or 3 on the coin market cap chart, and that involves printing of Ripple or just manipulating the numbers, which is easy to do with a centralized company. And you become a target for lawsuits when you're a centralized company also. So that's just reminds us of Ripple people. Bitcoin cannot be investigated. Bitcoin cannot be sued. There's no target. Bitcoin is not a target. Ripple is. That's just another reminder. Here is a quote someone sent me. Hang on a second. Forbearance, this is, again, I linked to the dude below. Forbearance is to wait patiently. No rush, no anxiety. A simple, joyful holding back of what is due. Carlos Castanda. I like that. Forbearance. Pound that like button. Federico Tenga, who's been on the show before, says, if you want to avoid distractions, here is a nice website that tracks Bitcoin-only projects. It's bitcoin-only.com. Dude, they might even be they might be so strict, Bitcoin only, that they might not even list me on there, because I just talked about Monero. Does that like exclude me from their Bitcoin only YouTube channel people? I don't know. But I also linked to the Twitter guy, 6,102 Bitcoin. His name is, who is into Bitcoin only. Okay, that means some of you just want to do Bitcoin only stuff. Check that out. If you want companies that are just strictly Bitcoin only, we did Lightning companies before, and now there's some Bitcoin companies. I was watching Stefan Molyneux the other day, and he had some guys on that were talking about the movie Hoaxed, and they were saying, we're going to need to make our own banks. It's really come to that. And I thought about it. I was like, yeah, dudes, of course. But you don't need to make your own bank. You already can be your own bank because of Bitcoin. You can already opt out of the banks. It's already here, dudes. Be your own bank with Bitcoin. We don't need to make our own bank. Because they were saying we need to make our own YouTube. We need to make our own Patreon, this, that, and the other. We need to make our own banks. No, it's already there. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. And Molyneux should have said that. He didn't say that in the conversation they were having. But I just wanted to bring that up there. No, we don't need to make our own bank. Bitcoin is already our own bank that lets us opt out of the banking system, where we don't have to worry about being censored by our banks, because Bitcoin is uncensorable, it's unconfiscatable. So it's really cool. We don't need to make our own banks. They're already there. Bitcoin is our own bank, our own Swiss bank account in their pocket, or whatever you want to say. Finally, here's something from Long Hash Data. He says Bitcoin has more daily active addresses than Ethereum, Ripple, Bcash, and EOS combined. All right, that's an interesting article. See if that's an important statistic to you. I mean, Bitcoin is the rock. It's on a whole nother level. It's on a whole nother level. It's number one, then number two. Who knows what's number two under Bitcoin? All righty, that's the end of the show. Pound that like button, bang that bell button, click on those squares that you see there. Subscribe to the channel. I'm Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, Disrupt Meister. New show here every single day, even at 3 a.m. in the freaking morning. I will say hi to you dudes in the chat right about now.